Hello, folks. How many here are building an AI app at work or at hobby? Most of the folks are like some kind of AI application, RAG, LLM agents, workflows, whatever, right? So in that case, you would already know it's yeah. So building these applications are comparatively easier, just that improving them or making it work as intended is the hard part. So in this case, you will be mostly spending like a week or something or a few days to actually build a MVP or POC, but now you have to make it work as intended. RAG, agent, or anything to make it work, so that it works like 95% of the time. That's where you spend most of your time. So here, what we are going to, Ragas, if you know, it's an open source evaluation library that helps you to evaluate, experiment, and find which what works, what doesn't work with your LLM applications. So what we are going to introduce here is our beta version of our app, which helps you to try out different stuff with your LLM applications. Okay, you notice a particular problem, you can actually go and run an experiment. An experiment is an idea that you have to improve your application. It could be anything. It could be trying out a new different model, or trying out a new different workflow, or trying out a new re-ranker, or anything. So whenever you have a different idea to improve your application, you run an experiment, and you understand if your application has become better or not. So I'll just show you a simple version of the app itself. So for this, I'll show you an app that we work with one of our early design partners. So they have built something like a LinkedIn AI application, so people can come to any LinkedIn app, any profiles, and just ask questions, or in general, just ask questions about about concepts that people may know about, and it will go and fetch the data from these posts and all the public data that is available and try to answer that question just like that person would answer. So my goal here is to build this application so that when people ask these questions, they get reasonable and good answers, just like the person really would answer. That requires a lot of experimentation, a lot of trying out different stuff. So that's where Ragas comes in instead of wipe checks. Wipe checks are like, I looked at 10 answers and looked fine, I'm going to ship it. Experimentation is when you have a proper evaluation metric, you have a proper orchestration on how to run different experiments, and then you also keep track of your experiments. So that's what Ragas app helps you for. So I'm just going to show you for this particular application how we start and and improve our application, right? So for this, this is the view of our app. So when you start, you will have a data set, which is also the data set that you'll be using if you're taking part in the hackathon. So each data set here comes with a set of queries that you want to test your app against, and a set of grading notes or ground truth answers that you want to test. You want to ground your real answers against. So these are the ideal characteristics of a good answer for this particular query. So we have already annotated that for you. And let's say I have it with my app. Now, what I want to do is to try out a bunch of different stuff, basically. So here I'll have my first version of my app, and I am basically going to try out. I'm basically going to import my endpoint of my app here, and just I have an LLM as a metric set. So whenever I make a change, I basically make sure that I run an experiment. So when you run an experiment, what happens is that the SDK or the library actually fetches the data set, runs against the current version of your app that is in local, and records the response and evaluates it based on the criteria that you have already set. So I've made one change, I run a couple of experiments, I make another change, I run another lot more experiments. At the end, what I want to show is basically after I run enough number of experiments, I'll basically go and compare how did different experiments actually performed. So here I'm going to basically compare different applications. So here I tried out two different stuff. For the base lane, I was trying out something which is a naive rag. Here I tried out again something which is better, which I added new models. I tried out some re-ranking. And here, after running two different ideas, I'm just going to compare what happens between these ideas, right? So each idea here is an experiment. So with experiment 1 versus experiment 2, what you find is that with experiment 2, it answers like 6% of queries more than experiment 1. So you know that certainly something has worked. So Ragas app helps you to run many of these ideas as quickly as possible, and also helps you to orchestrate different experiments. But if you are using LLM as a judge, you may also find that LLM as a judge may not perform really well initially. So it may be saying a correct answer as incorrect answer, or incorrect answer as correct answer. So initially, you may want to review some of the results like this. And if, for example, let's look at this particular question, right? So in this particular question, what I'm looking at is that the answer was kind of fine for me, but the LLM as a judge said that it's failed. So you may want to modify it, and you can easily modify it. And you can also modify the reason why the LLM as a judge failed. And you can likewise review these judging or results from the LLM as a judge metric, and then you can go to the library itself and train your own metric, so that optimize it so that it becomes and understands how you perceive as an answer as good or bad. So even like over time, you'll understand much more about, okay, your LLMS judge will have much more context about which answer to be to say as pass and which answer to say as fail as you give more and more reviews. And it will automatically optimize its few short optimizations and prompt according to your reviews. So the idea is that you can run as many experiments as you want. After you run enough number of experiments, you can actually go to the dashboard and just compare and understand which of the experiment actually worked fine. And whenever you run an experiment, we also keep track of what the changes that you made, so that, let's say if I ran 4 experiments and I want to go back to the experiment 1, which gave me the best results, I can just go back and ship that version as the best version. So this is the experimental way of improving any AI application. So in this hackathon challenge, what we are proposing is that we have an app that is built to give like 60% of test answers correctly. We want you to see if you can use this experimentation plus the app to make it so that it answers 100% of these queries correctly. So in doing so, you can try out different stuff, new agentic retrieval methods, new query re-ranking, newer prompts, whatever works, you can do that. But the idea is that you should be able to improve your application as fast as possible. So yeah, that's it. I guess I will see you for the hackathon. And if you need any help, me and Jithan will be here. Thank you.